Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. Today I thought we would chat a little bit about 2021. After a Monday Night Live, I received a question. I legitimately have no idea where this question is. I don't know if it was in Messenger or an email. I can't find it in my email. But somebody asked the question and said, hey, you said that you think 2021 is not going to be really good. So can you tell me why? And that's what I remember about the question. I don't want us to become complacent, okay? 2020 has been a challenging year for everyone. I think if you're going to assign a word to 2021, it would be challenging, yes. It was sad on so many levels. It continues to be sad on so many levels. We've lost a lot of people for a multitude of different reasons. And people are without work. They are without income. Who knows what the housing situation is going to be. And there's just a lot of question marks and a lot of balls up in the air that I think that we need to be aware of, to pay attention to, okay? So this is why I think we need to keep going, not become complacent, not let our guard down, and pay attention to what is coming down the pike, potentially, okay? And figure out how we can best survive and thrive in the coming year. So there are a number of different balls up in the air. I'm just going to run through the ones that come top of mind. Is that unemployment is at an exceptionally high rate right now. There are so many people out of work because of the restrictions and the shutdowns. There are people who are unable to work. There are people who can't pay their rent. They can't buy food. The food banks are being utilized so much more than normal. People that have never gone to the food banks before are going to the food banks because they need the food, okay? Landlords are in trouble because they can't pay their mortgages, and it's through no fault of their own. It's because the renters, who are also unemployed, can't pay their rent. There's just like this compounding amount of issues that are coming up due to all of the shutdowns and everything else. You have families who are going without. You have people on the brink of homelessness. You have people who don't know where their next meal's coming from. You have people who can't work. There's just no work. Now, I know here, and I always base it on what I'm going through here, you guys, and here we have a very small community. And the jobs that are available are not skilled jobs, but they're at-risk jobs. They're, you know, cashiers or stock people at grocery stores or Walmart or Meijer, that kind of thing. The Home Depot. They're, you know, there's where they're at risk because they're dealing with the public at large. So if you're out looking for a job and you are at risk, those automatically are crossed off the list, right? They're talking about the stimulus again. They're talking about additional federal unemployment funds. Our restrictions are supposed to end on the 20th. However, I kind of have to believe that they're going to be extended again. So it makes it very difficult for people to find work, to obtain work, to earn the money, to pay their bills, to pay their rent, to pay their mortgage, and to put food on their table. It's a definite concern. Now you add on to that we've had the lowest interest rates in I don't know how long, you know, 0 and 1% interest loans, if you can obtain them. But they are being more careful. My understanding is that the lending institutions are being more careful than they were before the housing crisis back in, you know, 2008. But what happens if something happens to those people's jobs? You know what I mean? The housing market right now, it's totally a seller's market. Totally a seller's market. But I have concerns in 2021 about a housing crash. Okay, I've been paying attention and listening to articles and watching articles, and there is the potential for a housing crash because of people not being able to make their mortgage payment. Not being able to make their mortgage payment, not being able to make their rent payment. You know, there's going to be issues involved with that. Our small businesses are closing for good. They're closing for good. Online sales have been unprecedented. If you have ordered anything online for Christmas and you haven't done it by now, you're likely not going to get it by Christmas, okay? So your big stores, you know, your Depot, your Walmart, your Amazon, they're all going to pull through this pretty good, you know, because that's where a lot of people are going to spend their dollar because they can't get into the local stores because the local restaurants are not available. If the local restaurants are trying to still, you know, stay afloat, they're trying to do curbside service and stuff like that. It's not the same. People are not going to order food the same, but I don't dissuade you from doing that. If that's something that you're doing, support your small businesses. By all means, support your small businesses. They are the backbone. Walmart's not the backbone. Amazon's not the backbone. And you know me, I'm an Amazon person. I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's hard for me to get a whole bunch of different stuff. But they are not the backbone of what we do here in our country. Our small businesses are the backbones. They're the ones that employ people. They're the ones that allow people to earn a living, to spend money so that our economy keeps going. Our dollar is tanking at an amazing rate. There's a lot of fear out there about the value of the dollar and whether or not it will be worth the paper that it's printed on. A lot of people say it's not now. I don't totally disagree with them. I'm not an expert on any of this, okay? The pandemic is not going to go away on January 1st. None of this is going to go away on January 1st, okay? I think that we're in for a rough and bumpy ride through 21. And one of the ways that I encourage you to keep moving forward, if you can do so, is to stock your pantries. It's an amazing form of insurance against hard times. It's that one thing that you don't have to worry about. You can sit around all day with your lights off, you know. You can do everything you can to completely reduce that electric bill. You can have the temperature in your house set a little bit cooler to reduce that gas bill. You can, you know, adjust your phone service, you know, your data plan, whatever, to reduce your bill there. There are ways to reduce your utilities, to cut back on those kinds of things. But you need to eat. And the way to reduce your food bill is quite simply to make sure that you are purchasing foods that you eat, that you're able to stock up, and that you're able to buy extra of in your pantry. It's really just so crazy simple. But if you're struggling to make all those other bills, your rent or mortgage, your utility payments, then food really is falling down on the list. But do what you can with what you've got, okay? Why do I think that 2021 is going to be difficult? For all the reasons that I just listed. I think that it's going to be challenging for a lot of people. I think that we're going to see things that we have not seen in many decades. And I fear for us. I'm not going to lie. I fear for us. Because you never know what's coming around the corner. And you don't normally anyway, but the stakes seem to be so much higher now than they normally are. So again, this is not fear-mongering, okay? I need you to pay attention to the news. I don't need you to ensconce yourself in it, okay? Don't listen 24/7 to a news station because you will drive yourself batty in a heartbeat. You want to get the highlights. Get the highlights. And if you want to dig deeper into a particular topic, that's great. But don't do it day after day after day after day after day, okay? Because if you start doing that, it will start wearing on you very, very quickly. It will wear down your psyche. You'll be more emotional than you may be now. A lot of us aged to perfection people, okay? A lot of us older people, you know, if you're not working and you're retired and you're on a limited income anyway, you know, you're kind of like, oh, what's the next shoe? What's the next shoe that's going to drop? Am I going to be able to survive it? Okay. And even if you're not, if you've got kids, if you're a young family with kids, it's something that you need to pay attention to. Be aware, at least on a periphery level, of what is happening in the world today and how it can impact us. When they're talking about significant data breaches with hackers, that's worrisome, okay? Google is driving me nuts with this second level verification, whatever it's called. I mean, it's literally made one of our TVs almost inoperable because I have to keep doing this in the middle of a program, or it wouldn't let me get past it for like a month. And it was a pain. But the security, you know, the security is necessary. This is one of our issues, is because we are so tied into our electronics that if anything were to happen, it could impact every facet of our life. For some of us, it could impact our income. For some of us, it could impact our savings. It could impact the way that we communicate with people. I mean, these are three very big, big deals, and it's impacted by our internet service, okay? And the hackers that are out there, they don't care about you. They don't care. They're malicious and horrible people, and they just don't care. They are even worse than your extended warranty people, okay? So you need to take your precautions. You need to up your game a bit with your passwords. Find a system that works for you. Record it offline so that you have a list of what your passwords are. But these are all things that we're staring down the barrel at for 2021. And I don't want to take away from the holidays. The holidays are a great time. It's a time when people come together normally, okay? And you can still do that. You just can't do it the same old way. And so I'm hoping that people will learn to embrace, you know, it's not great. I get it. I get it. But if you can embrace what you have to go through today so that you can do something different tomorrow, then it's all good. And that goes with stocking your pantry. That goes with any of your preparedness activities, is you are intentionally choosing to spend your time, your energy, and your money towards tomorrow instead of the instant gratification of today. And 2021 is going to be one of those times that we really need to focus on tomorrow. We need to focus on getting through 2021. 2020 has knocked almost every single one of us for a loop. Physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, you name it. 2021 sucks. It really does, okay? But we can do this. We can pull together as a community. We can pull together as a neighborhood, as a county, as a state. We can pull together and we can help take care of not only our own, but the people in our area. Never want to see anybody go hungry. Never want to see anybody's kids go hungry. And we need to find ways to make sure that that's possible to help them over the hump. The intent is that after the really rough times start going away, that people can get back to doing what they do. They can get back to earning a living. They can get back to supporting themselves. They can get back to buying property, doing whatever, okay? But right now, a lot of people haven't been given a choice. They have not been given a choice. I spent over 20 years in the restaurant and bar industry. It is by far still today my favorite job. Up here, it's not a way to earn a living, but when I lived in a more populated area, I made an excellent living with health benefits and all kinds of stuff, you know, and I enjoyed myself immensely. I never realized the impact that I had on people until a few years into it, and people would start telling me, you know, it was such an enjoyable career. I did it for over 20 years. I'm going to call it a career. And for most of my 20 years doing it, my mother always said, you need to get a real job. Okay. That is a real job. It is a real job. And a lot of times it's a thankless job. And on top of all of that, it is probably one of the most insecure jobs out there. Because now there are many, I don't even know a number, many people that are unemployed because of all the restrictions due to the pandemic. Those people spend money. Those people buy products, they buy services, and they can't do that anymore. They pay their rent, and they can't do that anymore. So that industry alone is being impacted, and they're impacting everybody else. It's a domino effect. You're not an island out there. None of us is. So when you're thinking about 2021, I need you to not become complacent. I need you to believe that it's going to get better, but prepare for the fact that it's probably not. Okay? Any suggestions that you have on different ways that you can prepare for worst case scenarios, throw them in the comment section below. This is why I made that statement. I think it was during a live show, and that somebody asked me about and said, why do you think 2021 is not going to be great? I know what it was, is she was getting ready to retire, and now she's thinking not to retire. And that's a personal decision that I can't possibly lend any information to, okay? If you're in a position to retire, then, and you know, you were before all this hit, it may not change your circumstances when you do retire during all of this. Then again, it may. You know, if you were looking towards making a side hustle income or something like that, just a part-time gig, you know, then the pandemic may impact that. So you have to make decisions based on that. Let's all take a deep breath and figure out where we can beef up our preps, if we can beef up our preps. Definitely pay attention to your friends and your family and make sure that they're able to take care of what they need to take care of. Don't let anybody go hungry if you can't. Don't necessarily give them the keys to the pantry. You know me. But help out people if you can. It is the holiday season after all, you know. And a lot of that giving feeling tends to dissipate a little bit after the first of the year. And that's not the time that we need to do that. Winter's kicking in finally pretty hard. Even though the thermostat or the thermometer says that it's 25, it's the 25 that makes your face hurt, you know. So there's people doing without. There's people living in tents in a park. I saw an article. I don't even know where it was. So, well, I can't imagine, and I hope I never, ever have to experience, and I hope that none of you ever have to experience. We need to stay on our guard. We need to keep doing what we do. We need to stock up. We need to prepare, and we need to be aware. So I hope this answered some of those questions. I would love to have a discussion with you about this. Drop your comments in the comment section below, and I'll be back later this week. Remember, if you like what we do here, please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be safe.